Honourable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, it has taken us the better part of 3 hours, close to 3 hours, to debate a bill which has 4 clauses and one which is entirely uncontroversial. And it is uncontroversial because every other Commonwealth Caribbean country, from Guyana in the south to Jamaica in the north, has precisely the provision which we are seeking to put into the legislation. Now, I reject the focus on what I describe to be elitism. The fact that because someone is not trained in the law, they can play no role whatsoever in the administration of justice. There is no country in earth where that obtains. In the United States, you have a grand jury. The grand jury is made up of who? Lawyers? People with qualifications? Masters? Registrars? The answer is no. And some of my friends on the other side, some of them went to law school, and they know this. So that I reject that notion. Now, I also reject the idea that ordinary citizens who are doing the best that they can do by other citizens should not play a role in the justice system. It is elitism, it is wrong in principle, and we were wrong, you were wrong in this House when you came here in 2023 and sent all of these justices of the peace away in favor of what you described to be a system where you had 3 masters. How does that work in a country with 1.4 million people? Mr. Speaker, if we, I've read out before the territories, all of the territories in which we have justices of the peace given search warrants in respect of indictable offenses. I've read it out. I'm not about to do it again. But what I want to say is that, and I'm not singling out anyone in particular. I'm not doing that this afternoon. I'm just speaking in general terms. Say again? Yeah. But some people said we have no statistics, but they quoted statistics. So what they said was that we had moved from a system where we had 3 masters to one where we have something like 11, and then sotto voce they said 12. Well, let's say 12. Now, the point is, well, you have 2 points there. How on earth are we going to properly see that you have 12 masters and therefore you are managing this system efficiently? Our job is to, as members on this side keep saying all the time, we have to get the job done. But I could tell them we have 106 at least justices of the peace. More than that, because they are paid a small honorarium. And they are paid that between the Minister of Legal Affairs, I hope it is coming out of his budget, and the Office of the Attorney General. I don't know who these people are. Why do you see a gun behind every shadow? Is it that someone said, you know, they might be going to war with you? You're looking for guns all over the place? Just relax. This is benign. It is a piece of legislation which is carrying us to a point where we are using functionaries who are well known to the law, present all over the world, doing exactly what we are asking them to do. Now, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions, though. And these are the questions that I would like to know. Why is it that you sat in government from 2015 to 2023, a year before elections, and then you decided in 2023 that this system, not broken, but all of a sudden, search warrants are going to be very, very, very difficult to get. I'm asking the question. I'm not answering it here. So you sit in government for between 2015 and 2023, when search warrants are easy to get. A year before you leave office, you can't get a search warrant, right? Why is that? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. And then they have the temerity to talk about, well, tell me what is going on elsewhere. In Jamaica, you have 11,000 justices of the peace. 11,000. Nobody is saying, well, you know what? They didn't go to law school. They didn't come first in law school. They didn't do this. So therefore, they should not be acceding to search warrants. Nobody is saying that in Jamaica. You know why? Because they are now getting the job done. Mr. Speaker, I just want to, a lot of talk has been made of the Brent Thomas case this afternoon. And I must say that I was surprised. I mean, my colleague and friend, Minister Hussain, used stronger language. But I was surprised to hear anyone opposite talk about Brent Thomas. Because, Mr. Speaker, I just want to read a few, two, not literally a few, two passages from Brent Thomas, and then to see what I am going to be doing. Okay? At paragraph 139 of the decision, the learned judge says, the first claimant was abducted. Now, the last time I checked, we had a law against that. Abductions. It's called kidnapping. And it's a serious offense. For all of us, lawyers, JPs who may not be trained in the law, all of us know abduction is a crime. The judge says the first claimant was abducted unlawfully in Barbados on the 5th of October 2022 and returned to Trinidad in the custody of ASP Birch, SS Martin, Officer Joe Field, and then he concludes with a sentence. That is an uncontroversial fact. That's what he says. It brooks no argument. The judge says so. That is so. 15 paragraphs down, he says this about the Attorney General, and I happen to be in that office now. He says, the Attorney General is, to my mind, the gatekeeper of the Constitution on behalf of the state as a whole, and is properly empowered with the appropriate jurisdiction to respond on behalf of the state. This is where the locus point, where a constitutional challenge has been raised. It would be the duty of the state, through the Attorney General, to gather the evidence from the appropriate quarters to not only answer and justify the actions of one arm of the state, but to also ensure compliance with certain orders. Now, if the Attorney General is to investigate, I take my job seriously. This is not a threat. I have started to investigate.
Yes, ma'am. Good.
And why have I done it? Because the judge, the High Court judge, tell me to do it. Nobody else. Nobody is going to war here. The High Court judge said, investigate. And I'm going to investigate it. And he also says, after gather evidence, I am going to gather the evidence. And lastly, he says that I have to justify it. Well, if it cannot be justified, then I'm sure that Mr. Alexander and his people will take the necessary, the Minister of Homeland Security will take the necessary action. That is not a threat. All that it is me saying that I am acting in obedience to the courts of the land. Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill to the House. It is uncontroversial. It seeks to give justices of the peace the respect that they deserve. It seeks to allow for search warrants to be obtained in an easier fashion by justices of the peace. That will be done when this legislation is finally passed. I recommend the bill to the House. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.